Commander Park Daeho watched the alien ships enter Earth's solar system with calm eyes. The massive vessels looked impressive with their shining hulls and bright energy fields. The aliens inside those ships thought they were visiting a backward planet full of primitive humans. They had no idea how wrong they were. 3 years had passed since first contact with the Galactic Council. The aliens had studied humanity and decided Earth needed protection. They gave humans permission to colonize only 3 star systems. The aliens believed humans were too weak and stupid to handle more responsibility. Park smiled at this thought. If only they knew the truth. Admiral Kim, are all our ships hidden? Park spoke into his communication device. His voice was steady and professional. Yes, Commander, Admiral Kim Heejin replied from somewhere far beyond the solar system. The entire deep space fleet is cloaked and waiting. The aliens will see. Nothing but empty space. Park nodded. Kim commanded over 200 warships that could destroy entire planets. These ships used technology far beyond anything the aliens possessed. But today the aliens would see none of them. They would see only what Park wanted them to see. The alien inspection team landed on Earth's surface. Their leader was a tall, thin creature with gray skin and forearms. He spoke through a translator device that made his voice sound mechanical and cold. I am Inspector Velkin of the Vorthak Dominion, the alien announced. We are here to check on human progress and ensure you are not developing dangerous technologies. Park bowed politely. Welcome to Earth, Inspector Velkin. We are honored by your visit. Dr. Yu Minho stood beside Park, holding a tablet that showed fake technical data. Yu had spent months preparing false information about human capabilities. His real laboratories were hidden deep underground, where scientists worked on weapons that could crack moons in half. But the aliens would never see those places. Show us your best warship, Inspector Velkin demanded. Park led the aliens to a landing pad where an old fusion-powered vessel waited. The ship looked impressive to human eyes, but Park knew the aliens would find it primitive. The real human warships used quantum engines and could travel faster than light in seconds. This old ship would take hours to reach the same speed. Captain Lee Na-young waited beside the ship. She wore a simple uniform and smiled nervously, playing her role perfectly. In reality, Lee was one of humanity's best pilots. She could fly experimental fighters that moved through space like ghosts. But today, she pretended to be afraid of the alien visitors. This is our most advanced vessel. Park lied smoothly. We call it the Earth's Pride. Inspector Velkin walked around the ship, scanning it with various devices. He made disappointed sounds as he studied the readings. Your fusion drive is inefficient, he said. Your weapons are weak. Your armor is thin. This ship would be destroyed easily in any real battle. We are still learning, Park replied humbly. Perhaps the great Vorthak Dominion could share some wisdom with us. The alien laughed, a harsh sound that made Park's teeth hurt. Your species is not ready for real technology. Maybe in a few hundred years, if you prove yourselves worthy. While the inspection continued on Earth's surface, something unexpected happened in the outer system. Captain Lee's patrol ships were conducting routine sweeps when they detected an unknown vessel. The ship was small and appeared to be lost. Its energy signature matched no known alien design. Unknown vessel, identify yourself, Lee commanded through her radio. The response came in a language her computer could not translate. The ship moved erratically, as if its pilot were injured or confused. Lee made a quick decision and ordered her ships to approach carefully. As they got closer, Lee realized the vessel was more advanced than anything she had seen before. Its hull seemed to bend light around it, making it hard to see clearly. The ship's engines produced no detectable radiation. This was technology beyond even human capabilities. This is Captain Lee of the Earth Defense Force, she transmitted, on all frequencies. Do you require assistance? The alien ship suddenly stopped moving. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Lee's sensors detected something that made her blood run cold. The ship was scanning her vessel with incredible precision. It was learning everything about human technology in seconds. Lee acted quickly. She activated her ship's experimental cloaking system and fired a burst of energy at the alien vessel. The blast was carefully calculated to disable the ship without destroying it. But as the energy hit its target, something strange happened. The alien ship seemed to absorb the attack. Its hull grew brighter as if the energy had made it stronger. Then it fired back with a weapon that turned space itself into a cutting tool. Lee's ship barely escaped destruction. "All units retreat immediately," Lee ordered. Her ships vanished into cloak mode just as the alien vessel launched a dozen scanning probes. The probes searched for several minutes before giving up and returning to their ship. Lee watched from her hidden position as the alien vessel collected its probes and disappeared into hyperspace. She had never seen anything move so fast or so smoothly. Whatever that ship was, it belonged to a species far more advanced than the Galactic Council races. On Earth's surface, Inspector Velkin completed his survey with obvious boredom. He had found exactly what he expected to find: primitive humans with outdated technology. Park shook the alien's hand and thanked him for his time. "Remember," Velkin said as he prepared to leave, "humanity must not develop weapons beyond your current level. The Galactic Council watches all species carefully. Any attempt to build advanced military technology will result in immediate intervention." "Understand completely," Park replied. "Humans want only peace and friendship with our galactic neighbors." After the alien ships left the solar system, Park allowed himself a small smile. The deception had worked perfectly. The aliens still believed humanity was weak and harmless. They had no idea that human colonies existed in 47 star systems. They knew nothing about the massive shipyards hidden in asteroid fields. They suspected nothing about the quantum communication networks that connected human worlds across thousands of light years. But Lee's encounter with the unknown ship troubled Park deeply. He called an emergency meeting with his top commanders. In a secure bunker beneath Earth's surface, he shared Lee's report with Admiral Kim, Dr. Yu, and a dozen other leaders. "Something is coming," Park told them. "Something that makes our technology look primitive. We need to accelerate all projects immediately." Dr. Yu activated a holographic display that showed the galaxy's outer rim. Long-range sensors have detected energy signatures similar to Captain Lee's encounter. Whatever this threat is, it's moving toward inhabited space. Admiral Kim studied the data with growing concern. "Our fleets are strong, but if this enemy is as advanced as it appears, we may not be ready for a real war." Park looked at each of his commanders in turn. "Then we must make ourselves ready. The galaxy thinks we are weak children who need protection. Soon they may discover that we are the only ones who can protect them." Outside the bunker, Earth continued its normal activities. Humans went to work, children played in parks, and families enjoyed peaceful evenings together. None of them knew that their leaders were preparing for the greatest war in galactic history. The hidden human armada waited in the darkness between stars, ready to defend not just Earth, but all life in the Moe galaxy. Dr. Han Jiyoung had spent 10 years studying dead worlds on the galaxy's edge. Her job was to dig through ancient ruins and learn about civilizations that had vanished long ago. Most of her colleagues thought she was wasting her time with old rocks and broken machines. But Han knew the truth about what had destroyed those worlds. The ruins all told the same story. 3,000 years ago, something had swept through the galaxy like a plague. It consumed entire star systems, leaving nothing behind but empty space and twisted metal. The few records that survived called this enemy the Devourers. But the galaxy had forgotten the warnings written in stone and metal. Han sat in her laboratory on a research station near the galactic rim, studying new reports that made her stomach twist with fear. 17 star systems had gone silent in the past month. Communication networks had stopped working. Trade ships had disappeared without sending distress signals. And the pattern of destruction matched perfectly with the ancient records. "They're back," she whispered to herself, staring at her computer screen. "The Devourers have returned." On the military station orbiting Kepler 442, General Cho Seung-wan was having similar thoughts. The Galactic Council had asked him to investigate the missing star systems. What he found in their databases made him realize the galaxy was facing something far worse than a simple war. The alien military forces were designed for fighting other aliens, Their weapons were built to destroy ships and capture territory. Their strategies focused on winning battles through superior numbers or better technology. But the enemy approaching from the rim didn't fight like that. General Cho studied surveillance footage from the few automated probes that had escaped the destroyed systems. The images showed ships unlike anything in galactic records. They looked like they had grown instead of being built. Their hulls seemed to be alive, pulsing with strange lights. Some were as small as fighters, others were larger than entire space stations. But the most terrifying thing about these bioships was how they fought. They didn't try to capture territory or demand surrender. They consumed everything in their path. They broke down planets into raw materials and used those materials to build more ships. Every battle made them stronger, while their enemies grew weaker. "Sir," Lieutenant Kang Woo-jin said from his position at the communications console, "we're receiving a priority transmission from the outer monitoring stations." General Cho activated the main screen. The face of a Vorthok commander appeared, but something was wrong. The alien's skin was pale, and his 4 arms were shaking with fear. "This is Commander Javek of the Outer Defense Grid," the alien said. His mechanical translator made his voice sound broken and desperate. "We have made contact with the unknown enemy. They are not what we expected." The screen switched to external camera footage from Javek's station. In the distance, space itself seemed to be moving. What looked like stars were actually thousands of bioships approaching in a perfect formation. They moved without engine trails or energy signatures. They were like living shadows against the star field. "We attempted to establish communication," Javek continued. "The enemy responded by releasing some kind of viral transmission. Our computer systems have been compromised. Our weapons are firing on our own ships. The infection is spreading through our entire fleet." General Cho watched in horror as the alien ships began attacking each other, but he quickly realized this wasn't random chaos. The infected vessels were moving in coordination, as if they were being controlled by a single intelligence. "The enemy doesn't just destroy," he told Lieutenant Kang. "They convert their victims into weapons against their own people." On Earth, Commander Park Dae-ho was coordinating humanity's response to the growing crisis. The secret human colonies were reporting similar attacks along the rim. But unlike the alien worlds that went silent forever, human settlements were disappearing according to carefully planned evacuation protocols. Park had prepared for this day. Every human colony beyond Earth's 3 official systems had evacuation plans and emergency procedures. When the Devourers appeared in a star system, the human inhabitants would destroy their settlements and escape to hidden safe zones. The enemy would find only empty ruins with no clue that the humans had ever existed. "Status report," Park demanded. As his senior staff gathered in the underground command center, Admiral Kim Hyejin appeared on the main screen from her flagship somewhere in deep space. "All rim colonies have been successfully evacuated. The Devourers have consumed 12 human settlements, but found only empty buildings and disabled technology. They learned nothing about our true capabilities." Dr. Yu Minho activated a holographic display showing the enemy's advance pattern. "The bioships are adapting faster than we expected. Each battle teaches them new tactics. They're becoming smarter and more efficient with every star system they consume." "How long do we have?" Park asked. "If their current speed continues, they'll reach the major alien worlds within 6 months," Dr. Yu replied. "But I don't think their speed will remain constant. Each system they consume gives them more resources to build additional ships." Park studied the tactical display with growing concern. The Galactic Council races were panicking. Their fleets were designed for traditional warfare against other technological civilizations. They had no defense against an enemy that could turn their own ships against them. Lieutenant Kang, who had been transferred to Earth for special assignment, delivered the most disturbing report of all. "Sir, we've analyzed the viral transmissions the Devourers use to control alien technology. The virus doesn't just hack computer systems, it actually changes the physical structure of alien brains." "Explain," Park ordered. "The Devourers release microscopic machines through their communication signals," Kang said. "These machines enter the brains of alien crew members and rewrite their neural pathways. Within hours, the victims become completely loyal to the Devourer Collective. They believe they are fighting for their own people even as they destroy their own fleets. Dr. Han, who had been brought to Earth as a special consultant, added her own terrifying discoveries. I've been studying the ancient records more carefully. The last Devourer invasion wasn't defeated through military action. The galaxy survived only because the Devourers eventually ran out of resources and went into hibernation. What kind of resources? Admiral Kim asked from her ship. Living brains, Han replied quietly. The Devourers don't just consume matter and energy. They feed on consciousness itself. They absorb the memories, knowledge, and creativity of every species they encounter. The last invasion ended only when there weren't enough thinking beings left in the galaxy to sustain them. Park felt a chill run down his spine. The enemy wasn't just trying to conquer the galaxy. They were trying to consume the very essence of intelligent life. Sir, his communications officer announced, we're receiving an emergency transmission from the Galactic Council. The screen displayed the council chamber on the capital world of Nexus Prime. Representatives from dozens of species were arguing, loudly in their various languages. But when the council leader, an ancient creature called the Prime Speaker, began to address the assembly, all voices fell silent. Citizens of the galaxy, the Prime Speaker said, we face an enemy unlike any in recorded history. Our fleets have engaged these invaders and found our weapons inadequate. Our technology has been turned against us. Our people have been converted into servants of this alien consciousness. Park watched as alien leaders who had once dismissed humanity as primitive children now looked desperate and afraid. We have underestimated many things, the Prime Speaker continued. We have been arrogant in our belief that superior technology guaranteed victory. We have ignored the warnings preserved by our ancestors, and we have failed to recognize the potential of those we considered inferior. The camera focused on a small section of the assembly where human representatives sat quietly. Park recognized Ambassador Quan Mirai, one of his most trusted agents. Therefore, the Prime Speaker announced, the Galactic Council formally requests the assistance of the human species. We ask Earth to share any technology or knowledge that might help us survive this crisis. Ambassador Quan stood slowly and activated her translator. When she spoke, her words were transmitted to every world in the Council network. The human government will consider your request, she said calmly. But we must first evaluate whether your species are truly ready to learn what humanity has discovered about survival. Park smiled as he watched the alien representatives react to Quan's words. They still didn't understand. They thought they were asking children for help with problems too complex for young minds to grasp. Soon they would learn that humanity had been preparing for this day since the moment they first looked up at the stars and wondered what dangers might be waiting in the darkness between worlds. President Im Ji-hoon stood in the Situation Room deep beneath Seoul, watching alien ambassadors arrive at Earth's orbital stations. The same species that had once treated humanity like children were now coming to beg for help. But Im felt no satisfaction in their desperation. The Devourers were a threat to all life in the galaxy, including humanity. Sir, Specialist Bae Tae-hyung announced from his communication station, the Galactic Council delegation has requested immediate audience with Earth's leadership. They're transmitting on emergency diplomatic frequencies. Im adjusted his uniform and prepared to reveal secrets that humanity had kept hidden for decades. Put them through, Specialist Bae. It's time they learned the truth about what they've been calling a primitive species. The main screen activated, showing 5 alien ambassadors in the conference room of Earth's primary orbital station. Im recognized their species from intelligence reports. 2 Vorthak with their 4 arms and gray skin, 1 ethereal collective member floating in its energy field, 1 crystalline Keth representative, and 1 biomechanical synthetic alliance delegate. Leaders of the Galactic Council, Im began. Welcome to human space. I am President Im Ji-hoon of the United Earth Government. The lead Vorthak ambassador, who had introduced himself as Minister Corvex, leaned forward with obvious urgency. President Im, we thank you for agreeing to this meeting. The galaxy faces extinction from these devourer creatures. We need humanity to share any defensive technologies you may have developed. Im smiled politely. Before we discuss what humanity can offer, perhaps you should see what we've already accomplished. He activated a holographic display that filled the room with tactical data. The alien stared in shock as the display showed the true extent of human colonization. 47 star systems containing human settlements, massive shipyards hidden in asteroid fields, quantum communication networks spanning thousands of light years. "This is impossible," the ethereal representative said, its translated voice filled with confusion. "Our surveys showed humanity limited to 3 systems." "Your surveys showed what we wanted them to show," Im replied calmly. "Humanity has been expanding and developing in secret for the past 50 years. We learned early that the galaxy was not as peaceful as it appeared." Specialist Bay activated another display sequence. The aliens watched in stunned silence as images of human technology filled the screen. Starships that could bend space and time, weapons that could shatter planets, defensive systems that could hide entire solar systems from detection. "How is this possible?" Minister Korvex demanded. "Your species was barely capable of fusion power when we made first contact." President Im walked to the viewing window that showed Earth's blue sphere below. "You made a crucial error, Minister. You assumed that a species' current technology level indicates their maximum potential. Humanity has always been exceptional at learning, adapting, and improving." In Earth's orbit, Captain Song Yunji received orders to reveal her ship to the alien delegation. The KHS Indomitable had been hidden behind a cloaking field that made it invisible to all sensors. But now it was time to show the galaxy what human engineering could accomplish. "Decloak the ship," Captain Song ordered her crew. The space around Earth's orbital station seemed to ripple like water. Then slowly, the outline of a massive vessel began to appear. The Indomitable was over 2 kilometers long, with a hull that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Its quantum armor could withstand direct hits from stellar-level weapons. Its dark matter engines could cross the galaxy in weeks rather than years. Inside the station, the alien ambassadors stared through the observation windows at the human dreadnought. Their translators struggled to process their exclamations of shock and fear. "That ship," the Keth representative managed to say, "its energy readings are impossible. No known materials could contain that much power." Captain Song's image appeared on the conference room screen. She was a small woman with calm eyes and a confident smile. "Greetings, distinguished ambassadors. I am Captain Song Yunji of the Human Deep Space Fleet. The Indomitable is one of our older vessels launched about 5 years ago." "Older?" the Synthetic Alliance delegate asked. "If this represents outdated human technology, what do your current ships look like?" Im answered with another holographic display. The aliens watched as images of humanity's newest warships filled the room. Vessels that could phase through solid matter. Ships that used artificial black holes as power sources. Weapons that could manipulate the fundamental forces of reality. "We have been preparing for threats like the Devourers for decades," Im explained. "Our scientists studied every ancient battlefield, every dead civilization, every warning left by those who came before us. We learned that the galaxy is full of dangers that require more than conventional military thinking." Dr. Yu Minho appeared on screen from his research facility. Behind him, the aliens could see laboratories filled with technologies they didn't recognize. Devices that seemed to bend the laws of physics. Experiments that played with the basics, structure of matter and energy. "The Devourers are not the first existential threat this galaxy has faced," Dr. Yu said. "Our archaeological teams have identified at least 6 different extinction-level events in galactic history. Each time the surviving species forgot the lessons their predecessors learned. We decided humanity would not make that mistake." Minister Korvex struggled to process what he was seeing. "You've been watching us, studying us, learning our weaknesses, while pretending to be helpless." "Not helpless," Im corrected. "Careful. We needed time to develop defenses against threats you had forgotten existed. We needed to understand the political structure of the galaxy before revealing our true nature." The ethereal representative pulsed with agitation. This deception violates every treaty and agreement between our species. The Galactic Council could declare humanity a rogue civilization. Captain Song laughed, a sound that carried no humor. Declare what you like. The Devourers don't care about your treaties. They're 3 months away from your core worlds. Your fleets have proven useless against them. Your own weapons have been turned into instruments of your destruction. President Im held up his hand to quiet the growing argument. We're not here to debate the ethics of our deception. We're here because the Devourers threaten all intelligent life, including humanity. Despite your treatment of our species, we're willing to help. What do you want in return? The Keth representative asked suspiciously. Im's expression became serious. Complete military command authority over all galactic defense forces, access to all technological databases and research facilities, full disclosure of every species' military capabilities and defensive installations. The alien ambassadors looked at each other with obvious concern. Minister Corvex spoke for the group. You're asking us to surrender control of our own militaries to a species we've known for only 3 years. You're asking us to save a galaxy that has spent those 3 years treating us like children, Im replied. The choice is yours. Accept human leadership and have a chance at survival, or maintain your pride and face extinction. Specialist Bay interrupted the tense discussion. Sir, we're receiving reports from Admiral Kim's fleet. They've engaged a Devourer scouting force near the Kepler system. The main screen switched to tactical displays from the battle. The aliens watched human ships engage the biomechanical enemy with weapons they had never seen before. Quantum torpedoes that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Energy beams that could rewrite the atomic structure of their targets. Defensive fields that turned enemy attacks into harmless light. But even with their advanced technology, the human ships were taking heavy losses. For every Devourer bioship they destroyed, 2 human vessels were damaged or destroyed. And worst of all, the enemy was learning. Each successive attack was less effective as the Devourers adapted to human tactics and weapons. This is what we're facing, Im told the alien delegation. An enemy that learns from every encounter, grows stronger from every battle, and turns our own advantages against us. Your species can contribute to the defense effort, or you can wait alone for the Devourers to reach your worlds. The ethereal representative spoke first. The collective agrees to your terms. Our knowledge of energy manipulation may help develop new weapons. One by one, the other ambassadors accepted humanity's leadership. They had no choice. Their own military forces had proven inadequate against the Devourer threat. But Minister Corvex had one final question. If humanity has been so successful at hiding your true nature, how do we know you can actually defeat this enemy? President Im was quiet for a long moment before answering. We don't know if we can defeat them, but we know that conventional thinking and traditional military strategies have failed. The Devourers have consumed civilizations more advanced than any in the current galaxy. If there's a solution, it will require approaches that no one has tried before. Captain Song's voice came through the communication system. Sir, Admiral, Kim reports the enemy is retreating, but their bioships collected samples from our destroyed vessels. They're learning about our technology. Im nodded grimly. Then we need to learn faster than they do. The real war is just beginning. Scientist Yoon Sola had not slept in 4 days. Her eyes burned from staring at quantum equations, but she could not stop working. The harmonic resonance weapon was almost complete, and every hour of delay meant another star system consumed by the Devourers. She worked in a laboratory that existed in 7 dimensions simultaneously, surrounded by the greatest scientific minds from 20 different species. The frequency calculations are complete, announced her ethereal colleague, its energy form pulsing with exhaustion. But we still need to solve the amplification problem. Yoon studied the holographic displays showing the weapon's theoretical framework. The ancient species had created a device that could generate harmonic frequencies across multiple dimensional planes. When properly tuned, these frequencies would create resonance cascade effects in the Devourer collective consciousness, essentially causing their shared neural network to tear itself apart. Dr. Yoon, called Engineer Lim from his workstation across the laboratory. "I have the Keth crystal matrix ready for integration, but our power requirements are still beyond what any single ship can generate." Yoon nodded tiredly. The weapon needed the power output of an entire star system to function properly. Even with human quantum reactors and Vorthak fusion cores working together, they were still short of the required energy levels. "What if we don't put the weapon on a single ship?" she asked suddenly. "What if we distribute the components across multiple vessels and coordinate their firing sequence?" War Marshal Kim Jae-won appeared on the communication screen from his command position aboard the fleet flagship. His weathered face showed the stress of coordinating the largest military operation in galactic history. Behind him, Yoon could see tactical displays showing the positions of over 10,000 vessels from dozens of different species. "Dr. Yoon," Marshal Kim said, "our scouts report the main Devourer fleet has accelerated their approach. They'll reach the core worlds in 8 days. Do you have a working weapon?" "We have a working theory," Yoon replied honestly. "But testing it will require every ship in the combined fleet to act as a single coordinated weapon system." Marshal Kim was quiet for a moment. "Explain what you need." Yoon activated a fleet-wide tactical display. Each ship class will generate a different harmonic frequency. Human vessels will create the base resonance pattern. Vorthak ships will generate the amplification harmonics. Ethereal vessels will focus the energy into dimensional rifts. The Keth crystalline ships will maintain quantum synchronization across all frequencies. "How precise does the coordination need to be?" Marshal Kim asked. "Timing must be accurate to within nanoseconds," Yoon admitted. "If even one ship fires out of sequence, the entire effect could collapse or worse, create a resonance backlash that destroys our own fleet." Captain Ryu Hyunwoo joined the conversation from his position leading the advance scout squadron. His ships had been conducting reconnaissance missions against Devourer advance forces, providing crucial data about enemy capabilities and movements. "Dr. Yoon," Captain Ryu said, "my pilots have observed something important about Devourer coordination. They use a central command node to synchronize their fleet movements. It's a bioconstruct about the size of a small moon, always positioned at the center of their formation." Yoon felt excitement building despite her exhaustion. "If we could target the command node directly with the harmonic weapon, the effect would be amplified throughout their entire fleet." "There's a problem," Captain Ryu continued. "The command node is protected by over 50,000 bioships. Getting close enough to target it would require breaking through the heaviest defenses in the galaxy." Marshal Kim studied the tactical projections. "How close do we need to get?" "Within 1 million kilometers for maximum effectiveness," Yoon replied. "At that range, the harmonic resonance should cascade through their entire neural network within seconds." "That's a suicide mission," Captain Ryu said quietly. "No ship could survive that close to the Devourer main fleet." Marshal Kim activated a secure communication channel that connected him directly to Supreme Commander Park Dae-ho on Earth. The older man appeared on screen, surrounded by holographic displays showing the final preparations for humanity's most desperate gamble. "Marshal Kim," Commander Park said, "what's our status?" "Sir, we have a weapon that might work, but delivering it requires getting within point-blank range of the enemy's strongest defenses." Commander Park was silent for several moments. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of a decision that would determine the fate of galactic civilization. "Marshal, activate the stellar engineering protocol." Yoon looked confused, but Marshal Kim's face went pale. "Sir, are you certain? The collateral damage will be enormous." "What's the stellar engineering protocol?" Captain Ryu asked. Commander Park answered grimly. "Humanity has developed the ability to trigger controlled supernova explosions. We can turn a star into a weapon with the power output needed to operate Dr. Yoon's harmonic resonance device on a galactic scale." The implications hit Yoon like a physical blow. "You're talking about sacrificing entire star systems to power the weapon. The Devourers have already consumed 40% of the galaxy," Commander Park replied. "If we don't stop them now, they'll consume everything. Better to sacrifice some systems to save the rest." Over the next week, the greatest evacuation in galactic history took place. Human transport fleets worked around the clock to move civilian populations away from the star systems chosen for the stellar engineering operation. Every available ship from every species contributed to the effort, creating refugee convoys that stretched across hundreds of light years. Yoon worked with teams of stellar engineers to modify the harmonic weapon for stellar scale power levels. The device would trigger synchronized supernova explosions in 12 different star systems, creating a resonance cascade that would span the entire galaxy. "The calculations are complete," she announced to Marshal Kim. "But we'll have only one chance to make this work. The supernovas will destroy our weapon platforms along with everything else in those systems. Then we need to make sure our timing is perfect," Marshal Kim replied. The final battle began when the Devourer main fleet reached the outer edges of the core worlds. Captain Ryu led the advanced squadrons in hit-and-run attacks designed to draw the enemy toward the prepared stellar engineering zones. His pilots flew suicide missions, using their ships as bait to position the Devourer fleet exactly where the weapon could be most effective. "All squadrons, this is Captain Ryu," he transmitted to his pilots. "Remember, we're not just fighting for our species or our worlds. We're fighting for the right of consciousness to exist in this universe." Yoon watched from the primary weapon control station as the massive Devourer fleet moved into position. Their bioships filled space like a living darkness, consuming everything in their path. The central command node pulsed with alien intelligence, coordinating the actions of millions of individual vessels. "All stations report ready," Marshal Kim announced. "Dr. Yoon, initiate the stellar engineering sequence." Yoon's hand hesitated over the activation control. She was about to trigger the destruction of 12 star systems, turning entire worlds into expanding spheres of plasma and radiation. Billions of years of planetary evolution would be erased in seconds. "For the galaxy," she whispered, and pressed the control. Across 12 star systems, carefully placed quantum charges triggered simultaneous supernova explosions. The dying stars released more energy in seconds than most civilizations used in their entire histories. That energy was channeled through the harmonic resonance network, creating frequency patterns that existed in dimensions beyond normal space-time. The effect on the Devourer fleet was immediate and catastrophic. Their bioships began tearing themselves apart as the harmonic frequencies disrupted their neural networks. The collective consciousness that had coordinated their actions for millions of years collapsed into chaos. But the victory came at a terrible price. The supernova shockwaves expanded outward at near light speed, sterilizing everything in their path. The harmonic weapon worked perfectly, but the collateral damage exceeded even Yoon's worst projections. "Status report," Marshal Kim demanded as the tactical displays showed the aftermath of the battle. "The Devourer fleet is neutralized," Captain Ryu reported from his battered fighter. "But we've lost contact with colonies in 47 star systems. The radiation from the supernovas is making entire sectors of space uninhabitable." Yoon stared at the damage reports in horror. They had saved the galaxy from the Devourers, but at the cost of making vast regions uninhabitable for thousands of years. Faster-than-light travel would be impossible in the affected areas due to subspace disruption. Billions of refugees would need new homes. 6 months later, Admiral Kim Hee-jin, now elderly and tired, stood in the assembly hall of the new Galactic Federation. Representatives from every surviving species had gathered to create a new government structure for the post-war galaxy. "The Devourers are gone," she announced to the assembly. "But we face new challenges. 40% of galactic space is now uninhabitable. Our populations are scattered across refugee settlements. Our economies are in ruins." President Im's successor, President Cho Min-seo, addressed the assembly